We started a project in March 2019 with our sophomore social studies class wanting to learn more about the preservation of history by GPS mapping a local 1790s to 1870s abandoned cemetery. We used our local county clerk's office to complete a deed search and pull genealogy records from our public library to discover the history of the church. Once on site, our project turned into much more than just mapping the gravestones at the cemetery. Within 2 visits, we were able to uncover headstones that were not on any listings and had not been seen in years. We quickly became hooked on wanting to learn more about the cemetery.
This student impact grant could help us so much. Supplies is our main concern. We need better metal detectors, more shovels, rakes, and limb cutters. There is so much that we can do to preserve the history in the cemetery, and our community has really backed our project and wants to know the history that we are uncovering. We have a second presentation in the spring to update the community on what we have done.
While in the cemetery, we used what tools we had to probe for headstones, map the cemetery, and learn how to grave witch. We were able to start a map with GPS coordinates of the cemetery, find the location of the church, and clean and secure some of the headstones. In May, several of our classmates presented before a library full of people. We couldn't wait to share what we had found so far. Since then, we've even made a connection with someone who has access to a second abandoned church cemetery.
For this school year, we've been able to keep a majority of the original class together in the U.S. history. To continue our work, we have applied for a grant for Ancestry that has given us access to that database, as well as a military database called Fold3 and newspaper.com for a year. We are in the process of creating a website on the original cemetery with photos and linked to Google Map that are creating a cemetery and writing biographies of information that we can find through our research of the people in the cemetery. There's so much more work to be done. Our timeline is to complete all of the computer work by this Christmas and be back in both cemeteries by November and March.